Many people have played, many people have voiced. How did you approach it, finding a voice, finding a character?
Well, I think definitely Kevin Conroy's voice was deeply in my head, and when I got the audition material, it was just a weird thing, like I had never gotten a job doing voiceover before, or really commercial anything. I mean, I got one doing like a dental implant commercial when I was like 19, but since then it's been a cold streak. So I did this, but I love Batman, and I loved that series so much, and just hearing that it was going to be like, or have the same creators behind it, I really just like did an obsessive thing. Usually as like a self-taper or an auditioner, I'll do one and then I like hate myself so much, I'm like, I'll just send that in, maybe two or something like that. Often my partner will be like, you really need to do a third take. You're not even remotely close. And for this one I did 30 takes. I mean, I just like sat in the car and I would do it and I would play it back and I would do it and play it back, and I was like, just get over your self-loathing and how far away you sound from what it is in your head, and I just drilled down until I gave myself the satisfaction of hearing the sound that I thought I wanted to hear in my head, and that was the tape that I sent in, and I hope it honors Kevin's legacy, but I mean, I wasn't like studying his tapes before making my tape, but certainly it was there, because then I went back afterwards. This is the longest answer you're going to get. But then I went back afterwards and I was like, I was like 15, 16 when the show came out. Did I really watch as much? And I put in some episodes to see, like, did I sound like, and I was like, oh shit, I've seen every one of these episodes. I remember every one of these things, and it had moved into that part of my subconscious, which is actually the most useful place for information to be for an actor, I think. 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is a Batman who's been described as being in like week 2 of his career. So what's it like doing like a Batman who's not like fully, the terror of the night, the scourge of criminals yet?
Yeah, I think, because I'm sort of new to the role too, that's totally useful. I think I don't have to pretend to be like a hardened crime fighter vigilante. This really is my first, this is my first couple weeks on the job. So hopefully that's useful.
How do you find the voice of Bruce Wayne in this? How is Bruce Wayne in this different than other incarnations?
Well, Bruce Timm had the thing that they said in the panel of like that's the mask. Bruce Wayne is the mask, and that was really helpful to me. And they're like, how do you think like a cold-blooded vigilante would imagine happy-go-lucky millionaire Lothario would sound in the 1940s? And so that's sort of like the character that we tried to land on. I think it was definitely more sort of lucid, also because it was, that period, like finding that sort of, is it Cary Grant, is it Humphrey Bogart, is it, what would have been the influences that Batman knew from movies that he would be like, oh, that's what the public expects a millionaire to sound like, Lothario. Yeah.
Do you believe for the adult audiences, the series will feel like a deja vu, or will feel like an old friend? How do you think the adult audiences will receive this new story?
Well, I think that's really apt. I think hopefully it will feel like a dream to them, like that it's half deja vu, half like, who just walked into the room? The totally unexpected thing that your subconscious wanted to see in this nostalgic trip you forgot you always wanted to take.
Is there, since you said you've seen every episode of the other animated series,
Yeah.
Is there a villain that you really, really want to see?
What was so crazy was I had forgotten the Clayface character, and then we have Clayface in the first season, and it's like, oh my God, this is my story. The bitter character actor who turns to murder and mayhem. And I was like so surprised when I read like our version of it. I was like, this feels really close to my bone. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, no, I totally love Catwoman. She's so confusing. And Christina Ricci and I, for some reason, work together a lot, but never see each other. Yeah, we sort of weirdly cross paths often. So she's cool. They're all, I mean, Rogues Gallery is right. They're all Technicolor awesome. And just to be able to say onomatopoeia. I mean, I feel like that was like some fucking guy drawing pictures being like, fuck those fucking voice actors. I ain't gonna call them onomatopoeia.
I think it was Kevin Smith that came There you go. Now, Bruce Timm himself said he didn't care if the character's likable. He wants him weird and creepy, including Bruce, not just Batman. How did you approach that weird and creepy for both of them?
I didn't hear that. I mean, fortunately, unfortunately, or maybe he said it and I just blocked it out. That's not helpful. I think he's just trying to do good, man. He's just trying to get crime off the streets. That's all. If it seems like that seems like a weird and creepy aim to have, you can put on your own utility belt. Do it better.
Since this is your first with acting, how did you approach this once you finally got behind the microphone? You've always been in front of the camera, so I have to imagine your performance this time is a little bit more exaggerated or over the top.
Yeah, it was a great relief because I think that's another reason why people really love Batman so much is they can bring so much of themselves. There's so much reserve, so much held in reserve. So I mean, I had no idea what it was going to be like when I stepped into the booth, but it was just, there's Bruce Timm, and he's like, all right, why don't you try saying that line 3 times? And then he's like, yeah, I like the first one and the third one. Let's go to the next line. And I was like, oh, great. It was surprisingly, but they had to have heard a lot of tapes, so I was just like trying to give them what they hired me to off of, I guess. It's not as satisfying an answer.
It works.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite
I mean, yeah, there's a great scene with Alfred later on in the first season. It's just nice. You see a little bit of a crack. I don't want to say more than that, but it's and I did love doing the Bruce therapy scenes. Were really fun because it was like, I don't want to go, and they come off really well. Like the direction is like really withheld in a nice way, and the animation does so much for you. You don't want to like put a hat on a hat. You just want one hat.
Have you ever thought about being Batman in your career? I mean, you're an actor, maybe, I don't know, a teenage dream about it. I've been dreaming about this role.
No. No, that's like not, no. When I was a kid, I grew up in this theater company that my mom co-founded called Shakespeare and Company, and so I grew up wanting to be Romeo, and that was the end of my ambitions for my life. And then when I was 19, I got to play Romeo, and I was like, oh, my career's over. That was really fun. Everything since then has been totally unexpected gravy. So, yeah. I mean, what kind of freaking narcissist teenager grows up thinking, yeah, you know what? Someday I'll be Batman. I mean, what kind of parenting did that kid have? That's astonishing. I want those parents too. I'd never, leave the floaty in the pool. That's great. Yeah.
I think that was a good
Thank you.
Thank you.